Hi and welcome to Program 2 in this series of tutorials and programs which focus on multi-charts power language. If you're not part of our email mailing list, then please go to chartplex.com. That's chartplex.com, and I'll be happy to let you know when I create new tutorials or programs. Today's program is a flexible traders pivot program and calculates three different types of pivots depending on user inputs: classic, Woodie and Camarilla, and also allows you to specify the exact time period that you're interested in. So for example, this particular chart, I've got a 15-minute pound dollar, and we are looking at the time period 9 till 12 and calculating the pivots based on the high, low and close of that period, since this is classic pivots. What we could also do though is start today and end tomorrow. Oh, and incidentally, you'll notice here that I've made the bar cyan. You can turn that off, you don't need to have that, but that just highlights the period that we're looking at. We could also though, for example, change the study, and instead of going from 9 till 12, we could go, for example, from 12 today until 10 tomorrow. So we can, you'll now know that you'll now notice that the bars have become a dark blue. Again, you can turn that off, and I'll go through the inputs in a moment, but the pivots are then calculated based on that time period. Now you'll notice that as soon as the time period ends here, then we can start calculating the pivots. This is for classic and Camarilla. If we were to change it to the Woodie pivots, let me just do that. That's pivot type 2. Again, I'll go over these in a couple of moments. What you will see is that actually the pivots are now not calculated until the open of the next period, because Woodie pivots use the open rather than the close of the previous period. Other things to note about this is if you put in times for which there isn't a bar, the program is intelligent enough to find the next bar after that time, or not the next bar after that non-existent time, and if the end time doesn't exist, it finds the first bar before that time. So let's just go through the inputs and I will explain what they do. So we've already talked about start time and end time. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. Date to start. This program does a lot of calculating. So what I did is just put in a date so that if you have a lot of data loaded, the program is not unnecessarily going back and calculating months and months of data that you really don't need. So this is just the first date where it will start attempting to calculate the pivots. Pivot type, I just already mentioned: 1 for classic, 2 for Woodie, 3 for Camarilla. And the next several inputs are all to do with the color. So you can change these if you wish, but for example, the pivot itself is white, resistance 1 level red, resistance 2 dark red, and so on and so forth. Now show high-low close. This is an option that takes the high-low close of a particular period and also draws that on the chart. So if we look, for example, here, you'll see that the cyan line is the close of this period, the red would be the high, and then the green would be the low. And if we were to just go and have a look, we should see that the low is here, which corresponds with that line there, and the high is this bar here, which corresponds with the red line there. So let's continue looking at the inputs. And paint bars, this is the thing I mentioned. If you want to see the cyan and blue lines, which just helps you to visually see what time period you're looking at, you can turn that off. In fact, let's just do that. Decimal places, these are the number of decimal places plotted on the chart. So for example, having just changed that thing, we'll see now that we're not adding those. They're not actually paint bars, they're actually drawn on the lines, and you can see that they're not there, and you can see that we're doing this to 5 decimal places. Okay, other inputs, double click on the study here, and the bottom two are really just to maybe help you check that the calculations. Test calc, if that is set to true, you will see in the power language print log, you'll see some sample data. For example, here it's telling us Woodie pivot, the date, high of that period, low of the period, open of the period, and the calculation for the pivot point. So you can just look at that if you wish to understand the program a little bit better. I'm going to change that to false. And then output of inputs. Again, this is just something that will print out the inputs that you have, and will print those also to the multi-charts power language output log. Anyway, I hope you might find this program useful. It's designed to be extremely flexible in terms of drawing these traders pivot lines, and it will be or it is available for download for a nominal fee at chartplex.com. So thank you very much.